Well, welcome back. Gerald D. Hines was a real estate icon known for his commitment to architectural excellence, superior engineering, and integrity. He passed away yesterday at the age of 95.
His impacts on the Houston area and around the world will continue to live on through his company and the landmarks he built. And Becker with the Harris County Historical Society joins us now with more on his remarkable life. And it's nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Mr. Hines was actually not born in Houston, right? He was born in Gary, Indiana in 1925. And so give us a little history lesson. How did he come to Houston and end up creating such an impact here?
First of all, he went to Purdue and he got a degree in mechanical engineering, but his true love was building. So even though he designed air conditioning units, he went ahead and built buildings at the same time. And then he got a big break with Shell Oil in the mid-1960s.
What do you think basically had such an impact of him to have the vision for these buildings in Houston?
Well, in my opinion, Gerald Hines designed all the way around. From east, west, north, south, he thought of everything. And then, like Derek had said earlier, he absolutely hired people that were tremendously, just unbelievably talented, like Phillips and Burgee. They were awesome architects. And he is so responsible for making Houston in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s just completely stand out to the entire world. He totally changed the landscape of our skyline. It's amazing the things he did.
And Ann, as we see some video right now on the screen of some of the many, I mean hundreds truly of projects he was involved with around the world, because of course Hines not only develops and manages, but they own so many of these buildings around the world. I feel like we need to talk about the community impact, because when you look at something like the Williams Tower, which is formerly of course known as the Transco Tower, and adjacent to it you have this beautiful Great Lawn and the water wall there. These are not just buildings that really change the skyline and the visual landscape of a cityscape, but truly he has created public gathering spaces that really are accessible to everyone in our community.
Well, he's quoted, he was interviewed for a quote, and he talked about the fact that he takes a space and he looks at it in terms of what will happen outside of the building also. So it's very important to him. Plazas were very important to him. And because of Gerald Hines, we actually have a Dubuffet, a Miro. He even went to Paris to meet Dubuffet when they hired him to work. He told them it was a very old, he was so old at the time, but just amazing to work with. He traveled to Spain to meet with Miro when he did the one that is outside the Pennzoil building. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, outside the outside, yes, that right there. That's one of his earliest buildings, and that is an incredible mural. We are so lucky to have that in Houston.
I love putting the pictures and the names and the stories to this, because, you know, when you pass by them, you're downtown or you're driving around, and for people who maybe didn't grow up here, can really get an impact of him. Let's talk about his legacy, because not only the landmarks and the things that we're used to seeing, but also at the University of Houston and the Urban Land Institute, it's named after him for the College of Architecture.
Not only that, but the really great thing about it also is two of his favorite architects designed it, Phillips and Burgee. And that just makes it all more tremendous, because they personally worked for years and years with Hines and just loved him, understood him, knew him. And that is a magnificent building at the University of Houston, who happens to have an incredible archives for historical research.
And you mentioned his work with architects. I know he worked with so many different architects over the decades of his career. And as Courtney mentioned earlier, this was not just a career about superior engineering and creating buildings that are functional and strong and will last a long time. But one of the reasons why he worked with these architects is because he wanted the architectural design of each building to truly be exceptional.
Yes, he did. In fact, the Pennzoil building is a really good example of that, because there you have, let's see, you have two buildings that are both the exact same size right there. And that is the one building where the plaza is in between them on the inside. So he actually took the block and he built them like this. And his job, his assignment was to create a building and build one that did not look like a box shape like all the other buildings in Houston. If you look at the difference in all the different buildings he did, like the lipstick building in New York, you know, the tallest building in Texas is the Texas Commerce Tower, now JP Morgan Chase. I mean, he really did take some amazing spaces in downtown Houston, in the Galleria area, and now in the University of Houston area. And his name will resound with Houston architecture for a very, very long time.
Yeah, for generations. And Becker with the Harris County Historical Society. We're out of time. We got to leave it there, but thank you so much.
Thank you. See ya.
Great to see you.
We really do appreciate it. And we do have a link to connect with Ann and the Harris County Historical Society on our website. Also on my KPRC Facebook page, I posted a link, a very nice tribute on the Hines website where you can learn more about Mr. Hines.